One word can change everything in Midjourney. Today, I'm going to show you the same subject, robot, but I'll show you 25 completely different ways to create an amazing result just by swapping out prompts in the sequence. If you've ever felt stuck or like your images all start looking the same, it's probably not your idea that's the problem. It's your word choices for modifying the image with your prompt. You'll discover prompt modifiers you've probably never tried, and I promise a few of them will blow your mind. By the end of the video, you'll have 25 new ways to unlock wild, creative results, and we're showing only one subject, robot. So you can see how these prompts make an impact. Let's jump in. Here's the first one, which is alcohol ink. So in this one, we're using robot and just the words alcohol ink, and we'll be doing this for the rest of the video here. And we've got a whole bunch of different things. And the reason why I like alcohol ink is because it's free, it's loose, it's super colorful, it feels spontaneous, and it actually drives a real interesting look to things that I think that you could benefit from. So try out alcohol ink. Next up, we've got a real fun one, which is candy cyberpunk whimsy. Okay, you probably have never put those three words together, but trust me, if you do, you're going to get some fun stuff. You're going to get things that are so unique, nobody's ever seen them before, and it's going to be a blast. Super playful, lots of fun, with just a little bit of weird thrown in for good measure. And that brings us to our third one, which is cell shading. So cell shading comes from the animated cartoon industry, where they would make a plate called a cell, and they would have an artist that would paint that cell, and they would put all these cells together and photograph each one to form the animation. Okay, that's how they did it. And so this type of artwork always has a throwback to that type of cell, because you've got outlines but it's mostly flat color. So it kind of looks really super interesting, which is a great thing for Midjourney to build for you. And speaking of doing something different, let's check out color degradation. So I love color degradation because it has a lot of texture. It's kind of glitchy a little bit. It looks vintage. It makes you feel the color, like you could rub your fingers on it or something, right? It really stands out, and I think it's going to be a great thing for you to try out on your next project. And speaking of next project, let's look at using crisp neo-pop illustration. And this is one of my favorite ones. I use it all the time. And what I really like about it is it has this really crisp, clean lines. It's got great color. It really kind of like leaps right off the screen there. You can see the linear line weights in this stuff, and it's really bold, and I think you'll really like it for your next project. And speaking of your next project, how about eclectic folk art fusion? This is completely different than anything we've shown you before because it looks handmade. This looks like found art. It looks like we put it together out of junk off the back 40 that was rusting in the field, and we made something out of it. And I think it's really great. It looks like something that was hand built. It's not symmetrical. It's got some weirdness and some funkiness to it. And a lot of times it looks like somebody painted it. I mean, look at that. It looks like somebody actually painted that box, right? And speaking of painting, what about this one, which is expressive mark making techniques? And let me tell you, this one is wild because, you know, you wouldn't think that AI could scribble around and draw a robot or paint something like this, where we're using big, broad brush strokes and really super expressive things. And it looks like there was a lot of hand movement and action in this, that somebody painted it. But no, it was Midjourney that created this stuff. And you can tell that this could be something really great for you. You just need to try it out. And speaking of trying stuff out, let's look at fantasy realism. And this one I think is just awesome because it looks like something you'd see in a movie. It's really cinematic. It's got great lighting. It really almost tells a story. You want to know why this robot is interested in that flower. It's just what's going on there, right? And we want to know what's going on in these scenes. And it's unlike any of the stuff that you're going to see. And it looks classic. And you can do a lot with this just by incorporating this into your next project. I mean, look at that. That looks just totally amazing. And speaking of amazing, how about Glow Wave? Glow Wave is something that's just really fantastic. And it's all about, believe it or not, things glowing. Okay. And what I love about this is the lighting. I love the fact that it's got a lot of atmosphere. It feels like you're there. It feels like you want to know more about what's happening in this scene. It's got a lot of neon kind of hints to it sometimes, or sparkles, or that bokeh kind of lighting that's in there right now. So try out Glow Wave with your next project and see what it might do for you. Speaking of something that you might want to try, here's another one, which is iridescent foil. So if you want to chrome anything, and it doesn't have to be a robot, it could be an apple, it could be a sports car, it could be a bicycle, try iridescent foil, because this is all about reflections, light refractions. It's about the color that you get with iridescent, which is pinks and blues and oranges and yellows. This really makes things pop. It's got just a fantastic feel to it. And I think this is something that if you use it on your next project, you would really enjoy it. But if you're doing something for the kiddos, you might want to try Kwai, K-A-W-A-I-I, kind of like Hawaii, but with a K. And this is all about cute, right? This is all about hearts. This is all about big eyes. This is all about getting your girly girl on, okay? And this is cuteness times 1 million. And if you use Kwai, if that is your subject, if that is your audience, I think you're going to really enjoy it, because you can do some really fun things with this, especially with anything that has to do with kittens or cupcakes or stars or any type of fun children things. Kwai is just a great prompt for that. All right. So if you want something completely different, check out Light and Shadow Play. This is all about drama. This is all about backlighting and silhouettes and making things look like it's a film noir mystery. And I really like this one. I use Light and Shadow Play all the time. These next few slides look like they're all kind of black and white, but sometimes you can get some really cool things, like a beach scene. You do Light and Shadow Play, and it's the palm fronds on somebody's face, right? So this is a really great one if you're interested in getting some funky shadows behind things, or on top of your product, or a person or something. So I highly recommend Light and Shadow Play. This next one comes from, believe it or not, Italian Renaissance, which is luminous sfumato. So sfumato is an Italian Renaissance word. The Mona Lisa uses sfumato, and it's basically that soft blending that they use to create atmosphere and a sense of distance and all that kind of stuff. But for Midjourney, for some reason, it means fog and smoke. So luminous sfumato tends to put color inside of the fog, like right here with this robot with the pink and the blue. And that really kind of creates really great atmosphere. And if you're looking for something that you need this type of look, this type of touch, I would recommend this, because you don't even have to describe the fog. It's right there with those two words, luminous sfumato, right? Check that out. Look at the left-hand side of that. Excellent. And that's going to bring us to our next funky thing, which is neo-Gothic avant-garde fusion. So if you want to crank up the weirdness, this is a great one to use, because you're going to get it both barrels with neo-Gothic avant-garde fusion. And so you're going to get stuff like this. or like this one, or here's my favorite with the crazy queen here. And of course, remember, these are the only prompts used for this image. Robot, neo-Gothic, avant-garde fusion. We're not describing the architecture, the crown, the throne, the hood, anything here. It's just how this thing comes out. So if you want to get your funkified weirdness on, this is a great one to use. But if you want something more tame, let's try this next one, which is pulp art style. So pulp art really comes from the 1950s kind of pulp art magazines, and there's that famous movie Pulp Fiction. It's all about that type of style and look. And what I really like about this is I like the flat color, I like the texture, I like the just the way you've got some high contrast detailing in this. It always makes a really cool style, and it's basically a Swiss Army knife for a lot of stuff. You should check it out. But we also go a little retro with just retro style. Now, you'll notice that this is a little different than Pulp Fiction in the fact that this is much, much cleaner. Not as gritty, not as textural, but you still have that kind of vintage kind of look. This one looks the old-fashioned kind of drawing with the like the halftone dots in the background. So it gives you a really kind of neat look to it. And that's something I think if you want something like this, you know, this looks like a 1950s toy robot if I've ever seen one. Retro style is the word you need. And then if you really want to go kind of old school, let's talk where we just draw stuff. And you can do that with Rustic Ink Sketchbook. So this one looks like somebody's got a pen and they're just kind of playing around with it and sketching in their sketchbook. And you can get some really cool styles, really cool results with it. And it's something I think that you really might enjoy. Imagine a product sketch, or you're doing something with architecture, or doing some kind of background scene or something with flowers or whatever. Rustic Ink Sketchbook could be really cool, especially if you pair it with hand-tinted watercolor or something like that. But if you want to go full-blown crazy color, I would go saturated color field. This is where you're bringing all the color and you're just going to overwhelm the image with big chunks of color. It's great for negative space. It has a lot of really cool blends in it sometimes, and it does this kind of pink blue kind of thing. Try out saturated color field on your next project. Maybe you'll like that. Or you could do something a little more simpler, which is just screen print. So this one really limits the color palette to just a couple colors, and it tends to make things look flat, you know, like your screen print kind of look. I really like this. I use it all the time, especially if you're doing something for t-shirts or doing something for bumper stickers or art or graphics. Screen print is a super prompt to use for that because it naturally limits the color choices. It doesn't have millions and gazillions of color. It's only got a few because that's how screen printing works, right? So, but if you want something that's a little more refined, I recommend simplified flat style because it doesn't have that screen print look, but you're limiting the choices that the Midjourney is going to make for this, and it really makes a clean piece of artwork. And that's what I really like about this. And I think if you use this for products, use this for renderings or doing something with some sort of object or something, simplified flat style could be your prompt of choice. And especially if you start talking about the colors, you know, the background, you know, that type of stuff. Although we didn't prompt that here, you can see that you get that stuff anyway, right? But if you want to dial that in, you would need to add those prompts, right? This one also is really great about doing some flat illustrations, which is just the prompt sticker. I love doing stuff with a sticker because it gives you that outline, see that white outline around the robot, and which allows you, like in Photoshop, it's real easy just to use your picker tool and grab that, and then you could get the robot without having to delete the background or anything. It's pretty easy, right? And so robot sticker produces these are just the two prompts, right? Pretty easy, really simple. Also a great prompt to add right before sticker if you need it is isolated, and that isolates whatever the thing is and makes it a really great sticker look. So let's talk about the most fun prompt I've come across in the last year, I bet, and that's upside down. Have you tried upside down yet? Oh my gosh, try upside down. But let me tell you, sometimes Midjourney absolutely will not do anything upside down or do that thing you want upside down, but sometimes it will for fantastic, really super weird results. But it's a hit or miss sometimes. So it's lots of fun just to see if you can do it and what the results will be. I love it, especially dogs. Do any sort of dog upside down and be ready to giggle. That's all I can tell you, right? This one, especially if you want to giggle, is all about dad jokes, and that's Vacation Dadcore. And here, of course, is a robot. He's on vacation, right? And of course, the only place you could go on vacation is somewhere in the islands. But what I really like about this is it's got a little sense of humor. Midjourney's pulling some jokes here, and we're on vacation with our babe, and I really like that. You know, so Vacation Dadcore could be a really good prompt for you just to see what it punches up. And of course, here's robots, but if you've got other things that you want to send on vacation, try Vacation Dadcore. And then this one I love, which is Wes Anderson color palette. So this is all about getting the color right. And if you like movies, you probably have heard of a director, Wes Anderson. His movies are known for having a particular color palette and color schemes, and that tells the story in the movies. But if you put that in as a prompt, you can get some really interesting looks, and it's totally unlike anything that you've seen, and I really enjoy it. So check that out. And then here's our last one, which is woodcut illustration. I really love woodcut. Lino cut is also a good one. They kind of give similar results. But the reason I like this is because it has a handmade feel. It looks arty. It does not look like AI created it. It looks kind of fun, right? You can get a lot of really great looks out of it, and it looks like something was printed. It's limited in colors, which is really great if you're trying to do something where you need to separate the colors out later. So woodcut is a fantastic way of doing that. It has a really great look and feel to it that I think you'll enjoy for your next project. Right, so that was 25 prompts for you to try. I went through them super quickly. I wish I could have showed you even more. These are the ones I tend to use a lot. I think you'll really enjoy them. Get a moment, pick 1 or 2 or 3 of these, try them right now, and I think you'll have a lot of fun, but you might surprise yourself with some of them. And if you want to be super goofy about this, take 2 or 3 of these and put them in the same prompt sequence just to see what you can get. So if you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about how to use Midjourney better, you might want to consider subscribing to the Midjourney Experience. So we have a newsletter that comes to your inbox every single week, but we also have a community on the school platform, and the subscription, you get both. So you get the newsletter and the school platform community all for $12 a week, or if you want to save money, $100 a year. So check it out, midjourneyexperience.com. We'd love to see you there. Hey, thanks for watching. See you later.